No, it was very cool.
Okay.
No, I'd love to have been. I did not
Can you hear me?
serve. I went, I was very close. And it didn't
Richie?
work out. So, well,
want me to go get it?
you know, they,
Are you sure?
it's kind of a funny story. It's not very respectful in the movie, but I graduated without a job from undergrad. And so I went to Milwaukee.
See some green lights, some red lights.
So we kept trying to finish for a living. Yes, okay.
Oh, there we
Working
go.
my
Now
way
we're
in the
live.
world.
Do these even work?
And so I said, okay, well, I've got a college degree. I'm going to start
All
at the
right.
naval
We're good.
recruitment office.
Okay, we'll call to order the Plan Commission meeting for September 14th. May we have a roll call, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Curry,
Here.
Commissioner Krillenberger,
Here.
Commissioner Hurley, and Commissioner Jablonski are absent. Commissioner Cernovich,
Here.
Commissioner Willoughby, and Commissioner Fiasconi are absent. Commissioner Moore,
Here.
and Chairman Cashman.
Here. Our first order of business, our public comment for any non-agenda items. Is there anyone here who wants to speak on anything that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on. Next to order, approval of minutes from our August 10th, 2022 meeting. Do the commissioners have any requested revisions or additions to the minutes as submitted?
Nice job again, Bethany.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're getting longer and longer.
Yes. Very
Last one was a
thorough.
long meeting, so.
It was, yes. Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
So moved.
Second, Cernovich?
Roll call vote, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Curry,
Aye.
Commissioner Krillenberger,
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Chairman Cashman.
Aye. Next, we have findings and recommendations. We have two tonight. Case A-16-2022 for 101 West Chestnut Street, a special use permit to allow for an animal hospital in the B1 Community Business District, an exterior appearance site plan review to allow for changes to the existing building and site for Vet Chart LLC at 101 West Chestnut Street. Do the commissioners have any requested revisions or additions to the findings and recommendations as submitted?
None.
None.
Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the findings and recommendations for case A-16-2022 as submitted?
So moved, Cernovich? Second, Curry?
Roll call vote, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Curry,
Aye.
Commissioner Krillenberger,
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Chairman Cashman.
Aye. Our next is case A-03-2022, a map amendment and text amendment to various sections of the zoning code and text amendment to Title 14 of the Village Code to establish a historic overlay district and for related amendments requested by the Village of Hinsdale. Do I have any suggested revisions or additions to this very voluminous findings or recommendations?
None.
Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the findings and recommendations for case A-03-2022 as submitted?
Motion to approve, Curry.
Seconded Moore.
Roll call vote, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Curry,
Aye.
Commissioner Krillenberger,
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Chairman Cashman.
Aye. Next, we have a sign permit review. We have one case tonight. It's case A-20-2022 for 28 East First Street, Visual Comfort and Company, installation of one wall sign. Welcome. If you give us a...
Thank you very much.
If you could tell us who you are and then give us a brief overview.
Yes, my name is Jerry Flood, and I am here representing the showroom. Can you guys hear me? I know. And I just wanna, I've got a. So as I said, my name is Jerry Flood. I'm here representing Circle. I am visiting from Savannah, Georgia. That's where our headquarters is, and second time to Hinsdale in the last 2 weeks. I was here for the committee meeting last week, and it's a really, really beautiful town. Riding through the neighborhoods today, I think I saw a lot on the homes on the exteriors. So we are really excited about our showroom here. Beautiful showroom that opened last December. You all have had the opportunity to go by there. I was here last week and got to see it in person for the first time. Really, really spectacular. But our company is embarking upon an exciting transformation that is resulting in a branding update that will affect our storefront signage. So we have submitted an application and sign plans, which you all have a copy of. And I just wanted to mention that I'm joined here tonight by Colin and McKenna, who are our sign installers, and they are here to support me and answer technical questions about the signage. But just as I wanted, we opened our store in December, and I wanted to share with you a little bit of background about why we are requesting this change to our signage. In 1998, since Lighting has been the preeminent retailer of lighting that is designed and manufactured by Visual. Showrooms display an edited selection of visual comfort merchandise. We offer a high-touch selection and sales experience to interior designers, architects, builders, and consumers. And Circa Lighting and Visual Comfort have actually been one company since the beginning, but we've operated under two different names. Circa being the retailer and Visual Comfort being the manufacturer. In January, that will change when the brands will unify and simplify under one powerful brand name, and that is Visual Comfort. So this is our new logo that I'm showing here. What will happen once the brands unify is that we will share a website, and Circa Lighting showrooms will become Visual Comfort & Co. showrooms. So I just wanted to share a little bit about what we're doing. The end result of this strategy will be a singular experience for customers seeking visual comfort products. So we're really, really excited about this strategic direction and about bringing it to life on our storefronts. So our new signage plans include signage that's very similar to what we have now. We are proposing a channel letter sign that will be mounted on a raceway, same as we have now. Let's see if I can. Page to turn down, that's okay. Thank you. This has a good mouse then. Okay, there we go. Thank you. So, as I said, we are proposing channel letters on a raceway. Color as the facade as it is now. And one of the key differences between the new sign and what we have today is that our logo, so it'll be a gray logo instead of black. But the logo will appear white when illuminated at night. And special day-night vinyl that is installed on the letters. And I have a sample of one of the letters. And as you can see, the craftsmanship is really high quality. Great attention to detail, but it's understated and elegant, and I would say that's how I would describe the Visual Comfort & Co. brand. So this is what it looks like close up when illuminated, but on the storefront, you'll just see an illuminated white letter. These letters will sit in the same place as the Circa Lighting sign sits, so it's within that framing that's on the storefront. And the sign itself with all of the letters will take up about 13 square feet which is well under the 25 square foot maximum. The color temperature is a cool white 6,500 Kelvin, which is the standard for this type of sign. And that's about it. We're really, really excited about it, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you. Cynthia?
The sign, the way it's placed, whether it's the circ or the visual comforts, first of all, I like it very much. It's a warm feeling. It reminds me of Marshall Field and Company. There's something about, in the lettering, I think you did a great job. It's a little off in the picture, not there, it is just the placement of it, you know, between the decorative cornerstones on there. That'll be centered, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it'll be centered. We will, that's sometimes with the visual renderings, it's not an
Those always
exact.
come up, okay.
Yes.
And just one other question, the sides of it's black on the sides, right? So you're only seeing it from the front. So you're
It's
not gonna
gray. The,
see- When you see it sideways, it'll light up on the side as well?
it's primarily the front that'll
It's the
be
front.
lit.
Okay.
Yes.
I think it looks great.
Thanks, Cynthia. Jim?
Thanks for your kind words about the village of Hinsdale, especially from Savannah. You've got a great town there.
Thank you.
I have no comments. Tasteful, nicely done. I wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
Jim? Julie?
I also like the sign. I think it's understated, but hopefully we'll get your brand out. I think it's a great addition to Hinsdale. Do you have any idea, I know you'll be back for another sign application for window signage?
We will.
Okay.
That'll be in November.
November.
Yes, we have actually just gotten the layout for those window signs approved, and essentially it will be very similar to what we have now.
Okay,
Right now, we have signs on the entrance doors, but because this wall sign takes up a lot less square footage than the circle lighting sign, because that eye in the circle lighting adds to the square footage, we'll have more available square footage for the window and door signs, so we're excited.
I had a question for Bethany. So the whole building is allowed so much signage per tenant, right?
Correct,
So usually it's what, like 25, 30 square feet?
correct. Yeah, 25 if you have a ground floor entrance, so.
25, okay,
Yep. So they're within that.
okay.
And this is smaller than the
Right.
existing sign.
And it's very tasteful, nothing glaring or, so I'm very happy with it, thank you.
It's very understated,
Yes.
but you can still see it.
It belongs in our historic downtown. Fits in well.
It's, I've been to many circle lighting locations, and I have to say, this is my favorite.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
really, really, it fits
It-
here.
It
And
fits in the village.
Yes, it does.
That's all I
Okay.
had,
Okay,
thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Scott?
The only thing I would ask, I think the question was answered. The raceways have to be replaced, is that correct?
Yes.
That will hold it, but they will be the same color?
It will
just
be the same color as the facade,
As the
yes.
existing raceways now?
Yes.
Okay, so really all we're doing is just swapping out for smaller raceways and then putting the new letters up? And then it gets
It'll
done.
be a standard size raceway
Great.
and painted the same color as the
I
facade.
like it as well.
Thank you.
That's it, that's all I had.
Great. I think it's really well done. I think it'll be a nice change, and I wish you success with Visual Comforting Company.
Very much.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve case A-2022 as submitted?
Krillenberger, so motions.
Cernovich, second?
Maybe a roll call vote, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Curry?
Aye.
Commissioner Krillenberger?
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich?
Aye,
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Chairman Cashman?
Aye. Thank you, good luck.
thank you.
Okay, our next order of business are some public meetings. We have 3 tonight. The first is case A-15-2022 for 36 South Washington Street and 4 West Hinsdale Avenue for Air Room Its exterior appearance review and site plan review to allow for changes to the exterior facade of the existing building, and a sign permit review to allow for the installation of 2 new wall signs on the building located at 36 South Washington and 4 West Hinsdale Avenue in the B2 Central Business District.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome back.
Good to see everybody.
Good to see you. Can you just state your name again?
Yep, my name is Jack Klein. I'm a representative for Air Room.
Nice to see you again.
1 second, I'll get this pulled out. Right. So just to rehash on the previous meeting, we were sent back to HPC to revise the sign. Can you guys, I don't know if this is ordered
we can
from
hear you.
here. We reverted back to HPC to revise the sign for our alternative plan because it was a little choppy in our first meeting in terms of our submissions. So I wanted to just go through a little bit of our slides to show the updated plan in our previous submission that was approved by the existing, as we know, with the canopy and the existing signage. So the changes we made per the HPC recommendation, as well as I believe the Plan Committee, was to create an architectural pediment being a little bit of a 12-inch or so pediment that overhangs the front facade and incorporate halo lit letters instead of the edge lit, base lit lighting that we had previously. We also increased the size of this sign for this submission because it was unable to light the bottom text, the Design Build Studio, on the Washington side because of limitations for lighting and what that font size would be. So we increased, and we went just below that 25 square foot limit. You can see on the right side as well the night view and how it would semi be perceived for a nighttime shot. The existing Hinsdale Avenue side as well. Really important to note that the existing signage was not symmetrical with that window pane. So part of our revision as well was to, we put that on either side of the jamb so it really lines up and is symmetrical from that view. As we discussed in the previous meeting as well, we kind of went back and forth in terms of the lighting aspect of the below text. For us, it was very important just to keep text as a context to Air Room being for our brand recognition, but is no longer illuminated. Just the Air Room and the logo will be illuminated as well with halo lit letters per the recommendation. And, that's all I have, and open to questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Scott, comments, questions?
Sure. So you met with the HPC recently, or a representative of your firm did, if you did.
Yes, I was here as well. I just was not the speaking representative.
And did they give you any guidance as to what you should be talking to us about before you came tonight?
So, I mean, we're here just to talk about the revised signage. I know there was the caveat about the door front that was just brought up, but other than that, I think they approved what we had really gone, spent a lot of time in revising and making sure that it was meeting all the guidelines for Hinsdale.
Just thought to interject a second. So they basically voted 4-0 to approve the exterior appearance, site plan review, and the 2 wall signs, subject to the condition that the applicant provide a recessed storefront entry on the facade facing Washington Street. So that was kind of their...
That was their guidance, right?
That was their qualification.
Right, and in specific detail, we weren't, we didn't have any guidance in terms of how that change is meant to be made in terms of the size of the recess quality to it. So we've done some internal studies, and I've brought some examples of floor plans and how that affects our space and what we've kind of analyzed. But there was no particular recommendation in terms of the recessed door front. We wanted to definitely note that on next or adjacent to our building being the Caldwell Banker storefront and the secondary door just to I guess the south of us are flush facing doors, as well as the Einstein Bagels corner store is also a flush door as well. So the recommendation, I believe, said all retail did not have a flush storefront. So we just want to point out that that wasn't fully true, and that we think, especially with our interior layout and a little bit of a hardship that we have just with the space that really affects only us, being the Caldwell Banker offices actually jog into our space about 12 feet, that in order to get a proper display that we're trying to accomplish as a retail store in the downtown, it's really hard for us to recess any further back for what we're trying to accomplish in that front display.
If I may, you mentioned a hardship. The space is what the space is. When you all came in to look at it, to put your business in there, you knew what it was. So I don't quite understand the term hardship. It's almost like something's being done to you, as opposed to you looking at the space and then saying, this is a space that I want to be in as it exists. And it's almost now you guys are saying that you want to be in it if you can change the front facade of the building. And I think about that with the Historical Preservation Commission asking you guys to come back to us with something, with design or something, or some ideas.
Yeah,
and
we have
thoughts.
some examples. Obviously,
You want to share those? I think it might
Yeah,
be
we
helpful.
can, yeah, we
Yeah,
can
that
share
would be
them.
great.
We just to be clear, we just prefer our initial submission. That was just the direction we were trying to go with. So
No, I-
Yeah, your
I
father
got it,
said
but-
a
but
very
you-
clear letter saying that's.
Yeah, but you did your presentation and said this
Okay.
is all we're focused
Yeah.
on is the signage.
no,
and I'm like,
I wanted to at least hear your guys' thoughts about the signage. I wanted to definitely see if.
Well, maybe want to go through and get comments
Yeah.
first, and then you could share your.
Yeah, sure.
recess.
Yeah. Sorry.
Other
so-
comments,
So
Scott,
as to
about
the signage?
signage
in
yeah, and
particular?
Yeah.
Okay. As to the signage in particular, I think we're fine. I think it's serving the purposes. I think you did hear what we asked and recommended. I do think that you've made some adjustments and changes, and they're appreciated. So
We
thank
appreciate that.
you. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Julie.
I'm fine with the signage, but my concerns, like Scott mentioned, the recessed doorway. So I'm looking forward to seeing what options you have.
Okay.
Thanks, Julie. Jim?
Maybe this was addressed before, but is this the sole location of Air Room?
Secondary, our second location.
Okay, good.
Yes.
And you do home furnishing, furniture, household appliances, cabinetry, I didn't realize this was going to be this long. Fixtures, flooring, and other home design products?
We try to wear a lot of hats, but we're an architecture, builder, remodeler. So furniture, it's a loose term. I like to think if we did a project or we did a home improvement project, if you turn the house upside down, nothing that we install would fall out. So we really tried to install all of our kitchens, bathrooms, wall coverings, trim pieces, and also explore into additions and custom homes as well.
Excellent. What's the derivation of the name Air Room?
The origination?
Yeah, it's, the code says it has to, and I'm sure there's a link, but the name on the sign has to match what you're doing. You can't say barber shop and then,
Yeah, so I can give you a little context. My grandfather actually started the business in 1958. And we initially had started as a, those glass enclosures, sunroom configurations that you'd see a lot in Florida. Unfortunately, we took that idea to the Chicago neighborhood, and the climate does not work out as well as a Florida climate would. So the air in the room and that kind of connotation led to ultimately us doing home additions, interior remodels, and so forth and so forth. So it's kind of just bringing rooms together and home design into a full turnkey process. So if someone was really looking to do any project within their home, we can service them however they please.
great, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cynthia?
I agree with my fellow commissioners. I'm anxious to hear the next steps, but I think the changes you made on the signage, thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
I do think you did, the signs look great, especially the one on Hinsdale Avenue. I think that really looks nice, both the daytime view and the nighttime view.
Thank you.
and we'll hopefully be able to, communicate your brand, to people on the street and possibly people on the train, and I think, get your message across. So I appreciate that. I think that looks really good.
Thank you, really appreciate that. So in terms of a little context, I wanted to also provide the interior layout just so I could add some color to what I am describing. So this is the existing space, just as a reference point of what the previous tenant used the retail location as. I know there's a lot of architectural language on that front door, but you can see that the recessed doorway also is creating a little bit of open cavities in that storefront, in the storefront glass. So what we're trying to accomplish, well, even right now, there's no real floor system that runs in that area. So our goal was, of course, to be a retail location that our potential clients and customers and just anybody in Hinsdale or the surrounding communities can enter this space and really use the full footprint that I think we're allowed as a tenant occupying the space.
Okay.
Here's our new interior plan. I don't know if it's large enough to be viewed. I think potentially you guys still have a new proposed
We
floor
do.
plan. So as you can see, this has the flushed out storefront. So in the that front, I guess, 90-degree wall configuration, that's where our front kitchen display is also going to sit, as well with a coffee area for our guests and any retail customers coming into the store. Just a little bit of a closer look what the kitchen plan looks like. Planning on doing a really nice island, and for kitchens just in general, spacing is a really big component that you have to consider when designing a kitchen. So our space with the flushed out storefront really allowed for 5.5 feet, which is luxurious spacing in the sense of people walking through the aisles and having comfort in terms of viewing the display, and also just a nice transition space throughout the storefront. For the secondary option that we thought about, originally we had the doors swinging in with that flush storefront so the doors wouldn't swing out into the sidewalk. Not really sure your guys' opinions on that. But we were considering, in terms of the recessed quality, would be moving back 12 inches into the store to allow for roughly a little over a 2-foot overhang of the pediment plus the recessed front of the store, as well as not really kill the spacing from that front kitchen display. So as you can see, similarly to the stores adjacent to us, the columns are in their existing location, and the actual glass doors are recessed back 12 inches. We're swinging out in this instance, so those corners don't really impede the traffic and the flow and the really nice retail feel that we're really trying to accomplish in the Great Town Village, excuse me. And in rendering as well of that the new storefront with the recessed doors, as you can see that the pediment overhangs pretty substantially over the doors, and you can see the recessed cavity from the Caldwell Banker's door as well.
Are there any building code restrictions on you swinging into the sidewalk across the property line?
Not that we've came across thus far. We would ideally, from the last time we submitted, we'd like to swing the doors out in terms of fire code, but it wasn't a part of this submission just because that was revised in our plan when we talked last week with the HPC.
Okay. And you're small enough in size, you don't have to swing them in the direction egress, right?
Correct.
I would want to confirm with our building official, though, if that's something that we would allow for the doors to swing out.
To cross the property line?
Yeah. Because I don't believe that we would, but I'd want to confirm.
Okay.
You don't think you would object, or that you
I
would
don't
allow?
think we'd allow it. So
Okay.
we
Does
want to
that
confirm.
nix option B? Potentially?
Poss-
If it's not allowed,
Yeah.
right, I think the answer would be yeah.
Yes, it would. It wouldn't make sense. Yeah. But you could do, well, you could recess it and still swing them in.
Yeah, we could swing them in. You know, I think that would be our secondary option. Of course, if we haven't got those comments back, so I don't know who makes the call on that.
Rob McGinnis in the building
Yeah.
department.
So, of course, that would be something we'd have to revise either way. So that may lead us in a different direction. But as of right now, we are trying to accomplish at least that same spacing idea for recessing the doors back, still having a really nice recessed 2-foot or plus overhang over the front door, and as well as not breaking up that initial display, which we're really trying to accomplish with this store, just in general being a retail.
Jack, you had that look like a AutoCAD view or something of that kitchen island. Could you show? Okay, so just looking for the door swing.
The door swing is right here with the fixed, the operable door, but they would both swing in. Oh, you can't see my mouse. Sorry.
But is this showing the north one fixed and the south one swinging in, or?
Correct at this point.
Okay.
Both will be operable
Okay.
per code.
I mean, do you investigate turning the island north and south so that you could, this is more narrow dimension running?
So the challenge for us is that kind of kills our kitchen design in terms of the walk space. So the space, I don't know if I can revert back to the floor plan. We have a staircase on the south side that comes into the space, so that if you walk into the looking south, there's no display possibilities in that area. That's really going to be a sitting area, an area for our retail customers to come in, use some nice fixtures and tile selections and cabinetry doors and all the various selections that you can make with a kitchen and bath design to be viewed in that vicinity. And really the only space for us to lay out the kitchen without filling that center walk space to the back display would be to have the island running east and west.
Are there other drawings, or have you shown us the ones you had?
For the new plan?
Yeah.
We have the exterior rendering and the new architectural plans.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Cynthia, comments? Focusing basically, the HBC's recommendation was, approving everything but requesting that recess entry. So I guess we'll focus on the recess entry aspect.
So my question would be regarding the recessed entry, whether to bump it forward or back,
Correct,
or to keep it where it is.
correct.
I happen to like the recess. I think it fits what our town is about. I think it's what we're trying to save, what we're trying to return to, the history of the town. The moving the door forward is a little more Oak Brook looking to me. No offense, I mean the shopping center, it's just a little more streamlined. Yes, there are exceptions like the door next to you, but that is a door, I think that goes up a staircase. Does it not? That's not into a first floor.
To the south of us, I believe the Caldwell Banker sign, I think, goes straight into their office.
The side door goes into their office, okay.
I think that's, for what I'm aware
one
of,
to
I
the
think that's
south?
their only, or
That's the one that goes
Oh, that is
upstairs.
upstairs. Doesn't that go up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's to the south. I'm speaking of the north, the Caldwell
north.
Banker. I believe that goes straight into their offices.
I think that's correct.
Okay. I think the ones that are forward
Yeah.
seem to be ones that are normally to a second floor. And just in, looking through and doing my ride through again, trying to make sure I was knowledgeable on what I was saying. I think that I personally like the fact it's more historic looking. It fits our town to keep it where it is. And if you're as creative as you are, I'm sure there's ways you can make the space work for you. I know it's a little short of what you need, but
In terms of recess, just as a question, I guess, for the whole commission or plan commission, is there a sizing that you guys would recommend in terms of is existing location? Is it 2 feet recess? Is it 1.5 feet? I think we need some guidance in terms of
My guidance would be kind of what, as far as the recess, so it's at least 3 feet back, so you could swing those doors out. I thought Jim Prisby had a comment where right now you're swinging in, so they're projecting at least 3 feet into your space. If you recess it back and you swing out, it'd be a little in excess of 3 feet, but it's, it's kind of a compromise. And then I have another idea that I'll share later. But that would just be my thought, and especially if there's a question with the building department whether they could swing them out, with new construction.
And just for reference, I provided the picture of the Caldwell Bank
Right.
on the farthest left side. You can see it's flush with the building facade. That swings in as well.
Other comments, Cynthia?
No, that would be my choice, is to
Thank you.
leave
Yeah.
it as it is. You know what, just one question. If you were to alter that a little bit, I mean, it's not that much space, which, again, the door swinging in is going to make it difficult for you with the interior space. But if you have that inset and you swing out, it gives you a little more space to do things within the space.
Yes,
I
if,
mean,
you know,
and you're
that's,
not losing that much, and if for some reason you made that a little short or brought it forward a little, I don't know if you can do that. Is there something in our code that says, like, is there a setback once you alter a building?
Well, when you alter the building, and new construction has to meet the current code.
It has to
So
meet the current
That's
code.
where it'd be Rob's review as
Okay.
far as the entry in the code, but, if they wouldn't permit it to swing across the property line into the right-of-way, then.
of course, then we would never propose
Yeah,
that.
you
But
couldn't do it.
if that doesn't meet the setback, of course, we'd recess it if that's our only option. And we're definitely looking to, move along to our construction just because we're getting a little bit delayed. But if that's what has to be done, of course, we'll, make the changes as we did before.
Okay. Jim?
Well, further to your point, Cynthia, isn't your plan B to recess it 1 foot? That's why your question, how much are we talking about? That seems like a very reasonable alternative to me, subject to some of the technical things, like can the door swing open over the sidewalk? So I think that's a nice compromise.
Absolutely. And that's why we brought the secondary option. We think when we ran our case study that will work for us in our front display and be the most optimal. We didn't have any guidance previously, so we were just kind of running different scenarios to hopefully it would work out. But
Julie?
I prefer that the doorway is recessed where it is now, the 3 feet. It's our historic downtown. It's a very historic building. The building itself is what I would consider one of the cornerstones in the downtown, kind of like one of the boundaries. It's very visible from the street and from the train. And I think having even a 1 foot recessed door does not work for me. I agree with what Cynthia said, looks too much like a mall. So I'd be, for a 3 foot recessed doorway.
could I also add that in the existing, or the original building in the late 1800s, it looks like the flower company actually changed the original storefront to be even more recessed. Kind of tell, it's a little bit zoomed out, but that picture actually represents, looks like it's a lot more flush with the front store glass, where the existing canopy and recessed now. So I'd like to at least point out that it was manipulated, so it's not returning to its original location.
That's for sure.
So, just some food for thought there, that its existing location is not original.
If you're going to return it to the original, I really would like the turret to go back, okay?
It was interesting, the turret there in the
Didn't there be?
Starbucks, It would
Yeah,
have been
wasn't there a turret there?
No. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
there
it's right
was.
there. Yeah.
And you could do some storeroom space up there.
Well, unfortunately, we don't own that,
That's when they
the
take over
turret.
Caldwell Banker space.
Right.
Caldwell Banker. Yeah. And I would love to blow out their jogged wall into
yeah,
our
right,
space
that's
as
right.
well, but
Yeah,
that'll be for a future date, hopefully.
future negotiations.
But I understand there's been many changes over the years, but in keeping with the historic downtown and the recommendation of the Historic Preservation Commission, I would like the recessed door to stay.
I completely understand, and just in terms of that recess option we provided, subject to obviously review with the door swinging into the
I don't
sidewalk.
think that's going to work.
But, that's the option that we have to go on today.
But you want it to be recessed like 3 feet?
Yeah, 1 foot does not
The
do it.
depth of the
Yes.
doors.
Me too.
I think you're talking about the width of that
Sorry,
space,
Jim.
if I'm not mistaken, being about 14 and a half feet. And if you recess it a foot, that's 14 and a half square feet roughly that you lose, right? And if we look at a recessed doorway that's 3 feet deep by, call it 5 feet wide, it's a wash on square footage. I get it's not the exact same, but it does meet what we're kind of looking for from a
Okay.
village. So I don't think the overall square footage of what you guys are proposing and moving everything back a foot versus what we're talking about is that much difference to the square footage of the entire space.
It was less about the square footage for us. It was more about the corners. The corners are a challenge in any space. And the corner, as you walk in, we want, our customers to, go to the north of our store and be able to have, a really comfortable, luxurious walk space. And that's really was our goal rather than the square footage. The square footage is what it is. We're not having any cabinetry in that area that we're bringing the front, but it's just a nicer entry to our store itself. So it's more about the spacing and less about the footprint itself.
Other thought? Jack, what's the intent of the space to the south of the double doors? Where that stair, you have the stair going down the basement and the one going.
So we will have a display wall just with some tiles, fixtures,
Okay.
potential countertop materials, hard surfaces, but some club chairs and some nice areas for guests to come in and sit and enjoy the space as they please. And that's really our goal with any of an Aram location is you come, you can enjoy the displays how you please, but really spend as much time as you need to generate your potential ideas for your home projects or future projects, or just to really enjoy some interesting architecture, finishes, and fixtures and materials.
Okay. I mean, I also, especially because HPC, their comments on having a recessed entry, I do think that is important. I think you lose a little bit with the double doors and swinging out, because of building the storefront. But my thought would be, and I understand what you're trying to do in that recess to the north with the kitchen layout. Have you considered moving the door entry to the south, to the 5 foot, I think it's like 5'6", that area there, and having, that way you create more of a contiguous open space for the kitchen?
Edgar is my design architect here. He says that
Can you go to the microphone?
Oh, yeah, so we could
well,
just.
I can articulate. He says the pitch of the street of the actual sidewalk, it's sloped, so the entryway would not be a flush level surface entering the actual store. I can see if I could pull up.
Yeah, let's see maybe the photo.
Building on that, can you go the other direction?
So you can see on the right picture, it's pretty heavily sloped.
Okay, so you're gonna be up too high.
Yeah, and to the north, that would just kill a second display for us because we don't have enough space to the south of the storefront
Right.
to put our display.
Well, we just, unfortunately, I think it's important to follow HPC's recommendations on this. And, considering you have, looks like with the column enclosures you have, and you're wrapping those existing steel columns, if there was a way, and have you always considered having double doors, or what about a single door and a side light or something so that you can get a little more flexibility?
We hadn't considered it at this point. If we can get away with the single door, I think that would be something that we're definitely open to.
I think we still want it recessed, though.
No, recessed. No, I mean, at this point, it
Yeah.
sounds like the any sort of flush
Because I think that
storefront is
would
not an
help you at
option.
least, try to come up with a way of recessing the entry, but minimizing the negative impact on that layout space to the north.
Absolutely, and I think we're open to conforming to the 3 feet if that's what you guys are looking for. We can have that updated and done.
I mean, what I'd probably recommend is double checking with the building department to confirm, because my gut is you probably wouldn't be able to swing out across into that right of way. But then looking at options to create a recessed entry in a way that minimizes you as little as possible.
Absolutely.
You know,
Well,
sizing the door, door with a
course.
side light or something to where you, because like that image you showed, you kind of showed the south door active and the north door, it was the AutoCAD image, and that north one, you know, is in its fixed position. That then frees up that space around the island. So I'm just thinking, is there some way?
Yeah, I think that's a great recommendation. At this-
Fortunately, you have a bunch of dezgners on staff.
Yeah, that is the
Looking at
fortunate part.
Options, and then Plan B is, you know,
Yeah, no,
lease
I-
some Colin Baker space.
I think if the flush doors at any level won't be accepted, you know, we'll throw that option away and we'll pursue the secondary option that we came with, but obviously with the doors meeting the regulations and the recessed quality that I think you guys are looking for.
I mean, what I'd recommend, I mean, we're a recommending body. I mean, the board has, they're the beginning, pay all the big bucks.
Yeah.
And they actually approve everything, but I would come to them with multiple options. You know, investigate it, come up with what you think is your best option, but definitely looking at it being recessed. And
Absolutely.
And then you make your case to them. But
Yeah,
I mean,
I think-
we'll see what the commission thinks as far as a vote, but I think that would, you know, having visuals for them, and that would give you time to investigate different options and
Absolutely.
go to them.
Yeah.
And see what their thoughts are.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
appreciate
ultimately, they can override our recommendations.
Sure.
So you'd have another case to make your case.
Would that revert us back to
Not to
HPC?
No, they typically, in many cases, we make recommendations with qualifications or suggestions.
Sure.
And then the board hears that and they make a decision.
Okay.
It's very rare that it would ever come back to us. It would be,
Okay.
the board would decide.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And again, we'll do whatever is needed to get these updated layouts and looks.
What would be the
for-
timing, Bethany, when they'd likely be on the board agenda?
So we originally would have put them on the October 4th
Okay.
board meeting, which is the next one. But we need plans submitted if you're going to provide alternative plans, and we obviously want to look at them and speak with Rob McGinnis ahead of time.
And then is
So
that a one read or the two reads?
there will always be two reads.
Always
Yep.
two reads. So there's like, they'll present it, and then they'll have a second meeting where they actually will vote.
Yep.
To give community more time to comment if they wanted to. So.
Is that months off at this point, or?
So
Obviously, the October 4th
The first read would
is-
be October 4th, subject to getting revised plans and making sure that they're okay. The second read would then be October 18th, I believe.
Yeah, like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 meetings a month.
And in terms of, just because I'm thinking about the storefront, a combination of things, if the signage piece is approved, which it sounds like that's a similar direction, how does that work with the,
I was just going to look at how this is. Well, it's really one application, right? So they're bound together, being one application. So, you know, again, the board could approve the signage and say, you know, and send you back to the drawing board on, you know, the entry, but that's really their call. I mean, I'd let it first hear what the motion would be by the
Okay.
commissioners, but it's really one package.
Got it.
In some cases, we do exterior appearance review, and then they come separately for signage. But in your case, it's a very integrated design look, so.
And I think, just to be clear, right, I think it's in your best interest to show a few options.
Yeah,
As
and
opposed to just
definitely.
coming with the single door, as an example.
Sure, and we always will at this point.
Right, so
just
come
because-
with a few, I think you know what we're looking for. I
Yeah.
think you know what everybody's looking for. And then that'll give the board an opportunity to
course.
give you some feedback that's constructive, and then you guys can work that out.
And you
Thank
can
you.
make your case on what you really want, and then these options that have been recommended by HBC, and
Yeah.
then what might come out of our meeting tonight.
Got it.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, you could technically approve the signage tonight if you felt comfortable, but just be aware if any of these storefront changes changed those signs. I mean, because it's so intermingled with especially the Washington Street sign, you potentially would have to come back,
Yeah, and I don't think,
It might-
subject to the plan commission.
and I think the signage is done on our front end, definitely for Aurora Sign, who's our.
Okay.
So it's really all about the storefront for us in terms of the doors as well as the glass.
Okay. Any other questions or comments, commissioners? Jack, really appreciate your patience too. And
No, thank you guys. I really appreciate your recommendations and, you know, possible to meet your expectations here.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, commissioners, in that regard then, do I have a motion to approve Hold on here. Case A-15, 2022, to approve the exterior appearance review and site plan review, and to approve the sign permit review with the qualification that the double entry be recessed at least 3 feet from the face of the building.
Double entry?
Double or single, depending on what their final design, but that the entry be recessed at least 3 feet from the face of the building.
Yeah, at the entry recess and that they give options.
Correct. And that,
Yep.
do you hear a motion?
Brillenberger so moves.
Okay, do we have a
More
second?
seconds?
You have a roll call vote, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Curry,
Aye.
Commissioner Krillenberger,
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Chairman Cashman.
Aye. Thanks, Jack. Good luck.
Appreciate your guys' time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next public meeting is case A-18, 2022 for 18 East Hinsdale Avenue, Zazu Salon and Day Spa. Exterior appearance site plan review to allow for the replacement of second floor windows on the existing building at 18 East Hinsdale Avenue in the B2 Central Business District. Welcome.
Hi, how are you? My
Good.
name is Michael Segreto, Anthony Segreto. Sorry, speaking for him.
Welcome.
Speaking on behalf of our father, Salvatore Segreto, who owns the building. This November, we celebrate 44 years in business in Hinsdale, so nobody loves
Congratulations.
Hinsdale more than we do, and I think we have the largest recessed entrance.
Yours is quite recessed.
It's pretty big. We don't love the storefront, so that's something that we want to work with the village to create something that looks better. In doing so, we just want to try and modernize the building and make it look like it has continuity to it. So, unbeknownst to me, and I know ignorance is no exception, we went ahead and we were beginning the process of replacing the windows, and then learned that we would obviously have to come before all of you fine people and ask for permission to do so. So we are here to ask.
You're not alone in that regard, so don't feel, it's
So-
happened before.
So, yeah, we're seeking to replace all the windows
Okay.
on 18 and make them consistent with the first floor.
Because I'm sure you guys have walked by and seen it's time. It needs
Yes.
to be replaced. So
And is the design of the window, it's basically, it's affixed over or project out? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
it's an awning. logo.
Okay. And all,
So project out from the
Yeah.
top, so the bottom
The
swings
bottom,
out?
correct,
Okay.
yes. Sorry,
in
this
window
is
A, the center one, would that be
Awnings.
two awnings? And on the upper glass, would it be the single pane like it is now, or would it be two panes?
Correct, single pane.
Okay, so it appears similar.
It's just trying to remove the extra mullion to make it look cleaner.
See there.
Yes.
But the windows will be black, so you'll be going from white to black?
Correct.
Let's see. Scott, questions? Thank you for the introduction.
So the center, yeah, okay, center volume is one you're trying to get rid of.
Double hung and to
Yeah.
put the,
Right.
it eliminates the mullion.
Yeah, you know what, I think I'm okay with this. I don't have any questions, anything further. I think this looks good, and congratulations on how many years you've been here.
Thank you.
40 years is really amazing.
Yeah, that's really good.
And we're
Time
opening up in
flies.
Naples. We're opening up in Naples.
Yeah.
So if any of you travel down there, we'll
Yes,
take care.
yes, we saw.
not that you need it. Your hair looks pretty good.
I was going to start by saying you all look terrific tonight, but I thought that was too much flavor.
Okay, enough.
Julie?
I like the new windows, but actually I would have preferred that they, on the side, on the alleyway, that they would have stayed white.
Yes.
I believe one of the commissioners at his HPC also said the same thing as you look down the alleyway. But I do understand that you didn't know you had to come in front of us or HPC, and I don't want to hold your application back. I think the new windows will look nice.
Thank you.
Jim?
No comments. Do you also own 16?
We do, yes.
Oh, I was your tenant briefly.
Really? For,
15, 20 years ago.
I don't think we owned the building.
It was probably,
Oh,
That was,
when there was
Olga?
offices upstairs.
yeah, Olga was
Olga.
there, and then a lawyer, McKenna,
Yeah, right.
and
Yes.
Miller, and then I was their subletter. I don't even know what where I
That was right before us.
swing on by. It looks a little, maybe a
I'll
little bit.
bet.
Hopefully it looks a
I'll
little bit
bet.
better.
Yeah, it was great. I have no comments on what's before us, though.
Cynthia?
I think it's going to look great. The windows, they are not double hung, they're awning.
The lower window is just
The
an awning,
lower
so they're
window
fixed picture.
on the front is going to crank out.
Correct.
Okay. Which I don't know if we have any of that crank out.
It's a popular windows type because you can crack it open, there's no fall hazard or whatever.
Right.
And if it starts raining, you still, you
Right.
protect the interior, so. They're pretty common and popular because of those features.
I think it looks great. I'm anxious to see, because I did watch the HPC meeting, and I know you have kind of an ultimate plan, and even your Zazu in the front and redoing. I'd be very curious to see what your ultimate plan is for the
Well,
building.
what I've learned from this is when we go to do that, and obviously everything's very expensive, but we'll work ahead of time
Yeah, for
with you guys to make sure it's something that represents the village in the right way. We don't have anything at this time. We do have an architect that we work with that's worked with the village. He knows, so we would work with him to make sure that we bring it, to make it certainly look nicer. I mean, the facade that we currently have was approved 20 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
It's
how
not
long
very
ago?
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
so it
don't
was
like
around the turn
Yeah.
of 2000 or so.
It's a drive-it
Right.
exterior. It's not very nice. So even though I know painting it probably wasn't everybody's favorite, at least it made the building look a little bit more commercial.
Right.
But we would like to try and do something that's more inclusive of what the town's aesthetic is. So
I
we're
think
here
that'd be
to work with
great.
you.
You're kind of a high profile, you're right there, the train station, people go by, it's a building that you notice, and it's a good-looking building. So, yeah, again, I'd be curious
lot
to
of
see what
traffic.
your.
A lot of traffic, yeah.
It's always busy there.
And a nice recessed entrance to get all that traffic.
You do, yes.
Very funny.
I think it's, I actually am looking forward to seeing those black windows on the second floor. I think it will, right now they distract from the look of the building, and, there's still the nice brick and stone features in the building. And I think we'll tie it together visually, like your father had expressed on the lower level, and then, whatever the future holds, you can create a different aesthetic.
Go about it differently next time,
Yeah,
I promise.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, do I have a motion to approve, where did I go here? Case A-18, 2022 for 18 East Hinsdale Avenue, for an exterior appearance site plan review to allow for replacement of the second floor windows on the existing building, as submitted.
So moved, Cernovich?
Krillenberger seconds.
We have a roll call, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Curry,
Aye.
Commissioner Krillenberger,
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Chairman Cashman.
Aye. Thank you. Good luck.
Guys.
Thank you.
Keep making him
Thank
feel
you
more
for
beautiful.
40 years. I can't even believe it's 40 years. Okay. And last but not least, we have case A-21, 2022 for 35 East First Street, Fuller House, exterior appearance and site plan review to allow for facade improvements to the existing building at 35 East First Street in the B2 Central Business District. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Patricia Vlahos. I'm representing Fuller House as the owner and operator. Thank you for having me tonight. I just wanted to go over, obviously, the renderings that we went over last week with the HPC. I do want to say as well that we are just looking to accentuate the building. It's an exterior facade refresh. After 8 years, we just want to keep things updated. We want to keep our diners excited to come and dine with us. And really, this is just an exciting project for us, and I think for the whole town as well, being on a major corner in the downtown area.
Okay.
I'll start from the left and work myself to the right. I know that there's a lot going on. If you have any questions, please stop me, and I'll go ahead and answer anything. So when you're looking at the first page, this is the proposed exterior facade refresh. Starting with the new outdoor planters, there is a cut sheet on the fifth page, that shows exactly what they'll look like, the reclaimed wood, the sizing. There'll be 3 of those. They are still on private property, so they aren't pushed out onto the public property. Don't have to worry about that. The next item is the reclaimed wood cladding for the signage backdrop. I want to add that this is we're not submitting for our actual signage right now. This is just a design concept that we back from you. We will be coming back, I believe it's in a couple weeks, right? To submit for that. So I'll go ahead and skip over the metal channel cut logo letters. Next up is the exterior lighting sconces. Currently, there's goosenecks there that are from when the hardware store was there. So, we are looking to replace those. There's a cut sheet on the fourth page. Very simple lighting, just very chic, a chic look. And then the last item, we are requesting to paint the exterior a distressed white. We have given you an alternative option.
Right.
Where we don't paint the exterior, just based off of the HPC's requests. We do understand that they want to keep and conserve the exterior that's there already. I want to say that there is Nabuki that is painted across the street from us.
Yes.
That's all.
That's good enough.
We don't get any say in painting, do we?
Huh?
We don't get any say in painting, do
Yeah,
we?
we do.
We do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I remember
Oh, yeah.
Birdie.
Birdie?
Yes,
Yeah.
well, Birdie.
Like I said, that's all I'll say.
Yeah. Well, and that turned out, I mean, it's a beautiful building now.
It looks
It is.
amazing.
Yeah.
It does
So
look
that's why
amazing.
we did want to at least bring it up.
Yeah.
I know we didn't get the best reviews from the HBC about that. When you do look at the renderings, if you go to the second page, that's a better look of the painting that we're looking to do to the exterior. I know the front page looks, very flat white, but it's actually, if you look to the left side of the second page, it's very distressed. So you are still seeing the brown through it. So I in case it is an option, I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
And last but not least is just the applied and painted sealed pattern onto the existing concrete. It's just to disguise the wear and tear from people eating and walking and over the years, just the concrete being super distressed. And it goes with the whole kind of theme of the exterior that we're
Right.
trying to procreate. So,
Right. Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Cynthia, questions, comments?
I love this building. It's one that I grew up here, but it is of all the buildings we've talked about, it's one as I'm traveling through town, I look at that building on the corner. I love the brick.
Sure.
I not only like the brick, I own a home that we had to strip. Took a year and a half. It was extremely expensive. And I know they talked about this at HPC, spalling is a real thing. And we had to replace brick, which was vintage brick, which was very expensive, and they had to turn brick. I would vote an absolute no on the painting. And although this looks lovely, I think what you have is, when I see it, it's an intimate dining place. Reminds me of an English pub. I think the changes you're making are nice, but it's the coziness of it. I think that draws my attention, and I think the crowds that I always see there.
Cynthia, did you see like the packet that was dropped, so it was delivered today?
This one here?
That has a view of it without painting, the first page right there. So that's the alternate proposal.
Yeah, I mean, that is
And the brick?
my, this, I think it's beautiful.
It doesn't change the color. So you can bring that up. I don't know what that is.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, and you don't own the building.
We do not.
Who owns the building?
Joel Teglia, which we have gotten approved.
Not Fuller's anymore.
No.
So he would be okay with the painting?
He would.
Okay, I want to make sure he would know that
Yes,
that
yes,
would
we
be-
had to get
It's
approval.
trust me, it is a nightmare. We had a restoration group come that travels all over the world, and it really was a nightmare. So for a trendy look, I think this looks like an established place you'd want to go to.
I certainly don't want to speak. I just want to point out,
If you are going to speak, you really need to come up there. At home, they won't be able to hear you.
just out of curiosity, is a lime wash an option that doesn't cause spalling? So,
It's
I mean,
more
it
of the-
allows for
it's
some
more
of
of the
the,
aesthetic versus
this is the aesthetic
maintenance,
part
yeah,
that
yeah.
is, which we were very clear on. I was just curious to know
Thank
if
you.
not painting it and
Yeah.
treating it that way was an
For me,
option.
it's the aesthetic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've seen the white buildings. I feel like we're
Historical.
kind of on the ebb of that going away. So I mean, I appreciate the design, but again, you have a really premier piece of property, and yeah, I like the brick the way it is.
And the rest of the look that we're
Yeah, I think the lighting change, the lighting you've
Right.
chosen is nice. Are we doing the sign as a yes? I think
So just
No,
the
sign
wood.
is in the future.
that's the future.
It's
Okay.
just the wood, which we already
Yeah,
have
basically
wood
the-
there.
But the wood, yeah,
Um,
and I didn't realize until I listened to the HPC that facade that was put there, which I've lived with and looked at, but now I think this would be nice.
Yeah, that was
Thank
done
you.
when it was
It's
Fuller's.
very distressed, the limestone that's there right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
It does
Ooh,
not.
I
look-
do have one more.
Yeah.
The pattern, the painting that you're
Sure.
doing, as much as the concrete has taken abuse, this will also take abuse.
Yes, and we will maintain it as business owners as we do with the rest of the restaurant.
My only question, I don't
Sure.
know what the expense
Sure.
of this would be, is there an alternative to that? Is there taking, do they sand it down, can they remove some of the concrete, resurface
They
it?
already are going to actually be doing that because it's on an extreme slope.
Okay,
So that's part of the issue of why the concrete is like that.
right.
I don't know if you do live in the area, so if
Yes.
you want to take a stroll by, you can see it's in extreme distress. So this is more of, our designer did add, because this is something that was brought up with Bethany, that when you're looking at the photo, this is where it's black and white, it's not like that at all. It's very faint concrete color, gauntlet gray. It's just like a stain almost. It's not like to change the appearance. It's just really for foot traffic. And the stenciling will kind of just give it more of a like it will disguise the distress. So, but it's obviously going to be applied by professionals. We will upkeep the property as need be, redo it as much as we can. Our designer, though, has done this numerous times, and this is something that she recommended.
Okay. I didn't know if
Yeah.
there was an option of putting a tile or something that would give you a little more longevity than painting with our winters and
Yeah,
salt
winters are
and,
tough.
yeah, I mean,
We
God
actually
love you, I
enclose
don't
things.
know.
We actually enclose the exterior during the winters.
Yeah, that's true, you
Oh, that's
do.
right.
So
You do.
our exterior enclosure hits at the public walkway.
Right.
And so our, the enclosed area that will have the new applied drawing will only be on the inside.
Okay.
So,
Did your designer have other options besides the painting of it? You can see I'm really against painting stuff outside.
it's not, well, are you asking more about the paint color or like the
No,
the
I
design?
don't mind the way it looked, I'm just
Sure.
talking about the,
The application?
not even the application, just the maybe the maintenance of it, but it's also just the wear and tear of it. I hate to see you get into something where you're having to redo it.
She
You
has-
do have a lot of foot
She
traffic.
has not, but she did do this in 2 brand new restaurants, one in downtown Clarendon Hills and one in
Holds up pretty well.
yes. Both of them have
Okay.
gone through winters, so
Okay,
it will be her problem if she doesn't have one, so.
thank you.
In multiple
Thank you.
locations.
Yeah.
Jim?
Love the light fixtures, love the wooden facade where the sign's gonna be and the planter boxes. I do like the white paint. That's all I
Yeah.
have.
Julie?
Sorry, Jim. Thank you for not
For your
painting the
multiple
building
commissions.
white. Yes. I think the white painted buildings is a trend. So I appreciate the brick because the brick is so nice, fits in well with the historic downtown. And like Cynthia mentioned, you're like one of the cornerstones and the place to go if you can get a table.
Thanks.
So I really like the new look, the lighting, and then when you come back, for the signage, you aren't going to make any changes to the side though, like the patio or the
That's
Zook
our next
building?
submission, so you're gonna see me quite a bit,
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
a lot.
I'm very fond of the little Zook gas station, just so you know.
Well, actually, that's our next project that will be.
Okay.
So we're doing the exterior, the front facade first, then we're gonna do the side where we have our beer garden, and then at the same time, we'll be doing Dips and Dogs as well, so.
Any chance of
Okay.
Dips and Dogs ever returning?
Opening, but as soon as we can get things approved.
With the
Okay.
good french fries?
We'll see about the franchise.
Yeah, that's probably beyond the scope of our discussion.
But you will love the concept. It will look amazing. We're not looking to change anything. We're looking to keep it historic outside.
Great.
And just kind of give it a nice updated, refreshed.
Oh,
look
it's
like
such a
we're-
great place, and it's so nice that it's walkable. I know
It's a
my
good addition to
grandson would
Florence.
really like the ice cream to come
Yes,
back.
we've gotten a lot of feedback and some hate mail about not being open, but soon.
That's good hate mail. That means they
Very
really
soon.
like something.
Yes.
Anything else, Julie?
Thank you, no.
Thank you.
Scott?
I really like it. I think it
Thank
looks
you.
great. I think, looking at the outside of this, the lighting, I think it fits. I think it fits the village. I know we're not doing the sign tonight, but I even like the sign and
Thank
I
you.
like the way it's lit. So I think you're on to something.
Thanks.
You did mention, in the winter, bring that out. Are the flower boxes gonna go in the
No,
winter?
those will be gone.
They
Like
what?
they will be moved for the
They'll be
winter.
moved,
Yeah, we
okay.
keep them in storage.
Got
So
it.
we have extra space on the inside of the enclosure.
And then on the applique that goes on the ground, the only concern I have is it slippery in the winter? Is
No, it has like an epoxy gravelly coat, so that's another reason why we're doing it, because we do serve food out there.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
the stain kind of has like, they mix with it like kind of a sand almost.
Right,
And gives you more traction.
okay. Those are the questions, that's it.
I preferred the alternative where you're not painting the brick. I think it really even accentuates the reclaimed wood backdrop and it makes it gives the whole kind of a warm look. I like how this even visually kind of ties with Pierce Tavern over in
Thanks.
Downers.
Yes.
Because it has that reclaimed wood.
And that's why we brought kind of like that look.
Yeah,
We
I
wanted to
like
bring it
that.
over there.
So
Thanks.
that it connects the two siblings kind of together. I like actually in the future when you come for signage that you're basically implying that these would be halo lit, kind of backlit signs, which I think then really brings out the warmth of that wood, that reclaimed wood. So I would really encourage that. I think, and I love the light fixtures up above. I'm excited. That's just a
Thank
really
you.
nice upgrade.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all my comments.
One other question. The ironwork is staying, correct? It's not on the white
it again?
painted, the ironwork that's above the doorway?
Yeah, sorry,
that
someone,
stays. That's okay.
they did mention that at the HPC. Yes, our
Okay.
designer just didn't, I don't know why she didn't put it. I think maybe because it was just stain and she just forgot about it. But yes, I did ask her to put it onto the rendering, but she forgot.
It's gonna look great.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Do I have a motion to approve case A-21, 2022, 35 East First Street, Fuller House, exterior appearance and site plan review to allow for facade improvements existing building in the B2 Central Business District with the qualification that the exterior brick not be painted?
So move Curry?
Krillenberger, so seconds.
A roll call vote, please. Bethany?
Commissioner Curry?
Aye.
Commissioner Krillenberger?
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Chairman Cashman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Good
Thanks.
luck.
Thank you very much.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Krillenberger, so motions.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Bethany.
Thank you. Thank you.